Less than 24 hours after signing a ceasefire deal, Iran claims it is closing the Strait of Hormuz in response to Israeli attacks on Lebanon. And this morning, Governor Tina Kotek signed a controversial bill that loosens regulations for farms that have attractions.
I can tell you, for me, I am not in favor of providing money to Portland.
Washington and Clackamas County shutting the door on Portland Mayor Keith Wilson's request to help the city fund homelessness response. Plus, after being shut down for 6 months, the Broadway Bridge is set to reopen to all traffic. At noon, Iran says it's halting traffic along the Strait of Hormuz just over 12 hours after agreeing to a last-minute ceasefire deal with the U.S. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us. I'm Tim Gordon. Today, Iran claims they have halted traffic along the strait following Israeli strikes on Lebanon. Last night, President Trump announced a 2-week ceasefire with Iran to negotiate a permanent end to the war. Part of that ceasefire required Iran to guarantee safe passage through the Strait of Hormuz. Despite the reports that the strait is shut down this morning, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt told reporters Iran has assured the White House it is allowing traffic through the strait, despite reports of Tehran once again closing the waterway. Well, here in Oregon this morning, Governor Tina Kotek signed a bill that loosens regulations for farms that have attractions like pumpkin patches or Christmas tree farms. Thomas Schultz joins us live from Topaz Farms in Sauvie Island, where the governor signed that bill. And Thomas, what did the governor have to say about this today?
Yeah, well, Tim, she says that this bill will help preserve family farms while boosting income for Oregon farmers. Now, this bipartisan bill removes a 25% limit for non-farm sources like ticket sales and concessions. The legislation comes after backlash last summer when a state agency proposed changes to rules governing what farms could sell. This morning, farmers say removing restrictions helps them diversify income while giving them a clear pathway to open farm stores. Though opponents of the legislation says this could harm small farmers by exposing protected farmland to commercial development. Still, Governor Tina Kotek says the bill will be beneficial by allowing farms to prosper and keeping family farms in business for generations to come.
Just this past weekend, there were a lot of kids rummaging in the fields for Easter eggs. These are the types of events that do not harm our land use system, but allow these types of businesses to thrive.
This bill provides clarity and recognition for farms like ours, finally giving us a place in the system that reflects the realities of modern family farming and agritourism.
Now, under this bill, counties can still regulate noise, traffic, and parking at these local farms. Tim?
All right, Thomas, thanks for that. Well, Portland officials are continuing to search for the fourth person in that car that drove into the Willamette River on Monday. This is a look from this morning as PBOT crews started prepping the area for a replacement fence on the waterway there. The Multnomah County Sheriff's Office says the low visibility and movement at the bottom of the river are making the search difficult. Early Monday morning, Portland police tried to pull over a car for reckless driving. Investigators say the driver took off through Waterfront Park, crashed through the metal railing, and plunged into the river. One person was rescued soon after the crash. 2 others their bodies were recovered Monday afternoon, while the fourth is still missing, but presumed dead.
We generally only have 1 boat on the water at any given time. We have 110 miles of river to patrol. So, unfortunately, sometimes, though we might want to be in a certain area and spend our time there, we have other things that could pull us away. We want to make sure, if we can, to go and find this unaccounted for person and return them to their family.
All day Tuesday, community members and family members as well visited the site of the crash where there is a growing memorial. Well, the Oregon Department of Human Services is asking for your help finding this missing Tigard teen who may be in danger. You see his picture on the screen right there. Officials say 14-year-old Chayton Owings went missing in Tigard back on March 19th. Owings is believed to be in the Portland metro area, possibly along the East River Promenade or homeless camps in and around the Hawthorne Bridge area. Owings is 5'2", 102 pounds with brown hair and blue eyes. If you see him, you're asked to call 911. Now to some good news for commuters. The Broadway Bridge is set to reopen to traffic this coming Sunday. The bridge has been closed for the past 6 months as crews work to replace the bridge deck, which was installed almost 2 decades ago. Starting this Sunday, all motorized vehicles and the Portland streetcar will be able to use that bridge again. And now we're going to take a live look over downtown Portland from our Wells Fargo sky cam. Very beautiful day out there, and we're expecting it to warm back up a little bit. Chris McGinnis is live in the Weather Center tracking all that. Chris?
Yeah, we've been on a little bit of a weather roller coaster the last couple of days, right? 79 Sunday, 79 on Monday, both record highs for the day. Yesterday, we only got to 61, an 18-degree cool off from the previous days. So yeah, we're now on our way back up a little bit. Temperatures at noontime, under a mostly clear sky, are a smidge warmer than they were yesterday, but our trajectory continues upward as we go to the afternoon. Right now it's mostly clear or sunny in Salem at 57. Here's the live look from the Springs to the waterfront of Vancouver. Again, a beautiful afternoon here along the Vancouver waterfront, 56 there now. So again, a couple of degrees warmer right now than we were yesterday. And the Rose City Sky Camera shows blue sky over downtown Portland. Some clouds being reported out at PDX with a light northwest breeze at 3 miles an hour. Here you go, visible satellite imagery. Again, the bright white spots that you see there, the tippy tops of the Cascade volcanoes, Rainier, Mount Adams, Mount St. Helens, Mount Hood, and the Central Oregon Cascades there. Otherwise, a mostly clear sky across southwest Washington and northwest Oregon. Is 57 right now in Hillsborough. Astoria checking in with 52 and out across the Columbia Basin in the 60s now in the Dalles and approaching that in Pendleton. The plan for today, again, sunshine galore for the afternoon and warmer than yesterday. We only got to 61 yesterday. I think we get up to about 67 or 68 late this afternoon as temperatures continue to warm, and we will stay clear and not as cold tonight, which will set the stage for an even warmer day tomorrow. More on that and some possible thunderstorms in our Friday forecast as well. All of that coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, look forward to it. Thanks, Chris. Here's a look at some national headlines this afternoon. Democrats are renewing pressure on Congress to return to session and limit the president's war powers after President Trump's initial threats to target civilian infrastructure in Iran. New Jersey Senator Cory Booker, who was in Portland Tuesday for a book tour, joined Oregon Senator Jeff Merkley and Congresswoman Maxine Dexter in condemning that language and pushing for action.
We're calling upon our Republican colleagues to use their public statements and their private advocacy to convey to the president that this is unacceptable.
War and peace demand more than politics. The lives of Iranian civilians, children, families, ordinary people who have nothing to do with their government's nuclear program, these are not bargaining chips.
The president now says the war is, quote, close to a resolution, while Senator Jeff Merkley says he hopes for a permanent deal. Well, Bill Gates will sit for questions from the House Oversight Committee as part of its investigation into Jeffrey Epstein. NBC reports the Microsoft founder will be interviewed June 10th. Gates appears several times in the Epstein files, including in emails that exposed an affair, which he recently admitted to. He's called the time he spent with Epstein a huge mistake. Well, if you're a Ford driver, you'll want to pay attention to this next story. Ford is recalling more than 400,000 vehicles because the windshield wipers can break while in use. The recall affects 2021 and 2023 Ford Expeditions and Lincoln Navigators, as well as the 2022 and 23 F-Series Super Duty trucks. Once Ford finds a solution to the issue, dealerships will replace the wipers at no cost. We're getting new angles of the far side of the moon like we've never seen before. The detail of the moon we are now getting to see is impressive, showing us craters and more of the surface for the very first time. It's just stunning, these pictures. It's a landscape that is millions of years in the making. Some of these features are even older than some on Earth.
A lot of these craters are very, very old. Some of the craters are, 4 billion years old, and I think Christina asked for the age of one of the craters yesterday, and they described it as quite a new one because it was only 3.8 billion years old.
Wow, that's old. But we can expect to see much more in the days ahead, especially once the Artemis II crew arrives back on Earth's splashdown, still scheduled for Friday off the San Diego coast. Well, Washington and Clackamas counties have rejected a request from Portland Mayor Keith Wilson to help fund additional homeless shelters in the city. Mayor Wilson requested $4 million from Clackamas County and $6 million from Washington County. Clackamas County leaders say they simply can't make the mayor's deadline on this, raising concerns about sending money to Portland at all. And in Washington County, commissioners discussed sending at least $1 million, although even that idea didn't have full support.
I can tell you, for me, I am not in favor of providing money to Portland. I think that we have enough need here.
We, the county, don't have more money to do what they're asking related to houseless and homeless services.
After separate board meetings and public comment yesterday, both counties declined to send any money to Portland at this time.